I want to take this opportunity to thank God for the gift of life that He has bestowed upon us. In today's podcast, we discuss breastfeeding and how to tell if the baby has gotten enough. Before we continue, I welcome you to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our subsequent podcasts. Welcome to JB Weekly Podcast. We discuss health for everyday life, pushing back the tide of disease in our world. For health is by choice, not by chance. Do I have enough milk for my baby? This is probably the greatest concern for all new breastfeeding mothers who have been blessed with a baby. After the first few days, it has been discovered that many infants are breastfed more often than necessary because the mothers are fearing that their children are not satisfied or they are not getting adequate amount of milk from their breasts. The infant's demand increases the mother's milk supply. When mothers worry about their milk supply, they sometimes offer bottles of formula. These bottles cause problems in two ways. One, they fill your baby up so he won't breastfeed as often as necessary. Two, when you breastfeed less often, you will not make as much milk as possible for the baby. Besides, feeding causes problems with sucking at the breast. The bottle nipple is shaped much differently for a nipple, and milk flows faster from the bottle when you compare with the breast. Babies may become confused when bottles fed in the early weeks when they are just learning how to breastfeed. Now, even though you cannot see the amount of breast milk that goes into your baby, there are ways to know if they are getting enough. And this is where I want you to listen very, very carefully, because there are indications that will show you that the baby is getting adequate milk to allay your fears that the baby is not satisfied. Number one, if the baby breastfeeds more than 8 times in a 24-hour period, then you do not have to worry that the baby is not getting adequate milk. 2, if the baby breastfeeds at least 10 minutes in a rhythmic suck, swallow, and post pattern, then you do not have to worry. That amount of time is adequate for the baby to get adequate amount of milk. What do I say? The baby normally suckles in a rhythmic and a pattern way. He suckles, swallows, and pauses momentarily before he repeats the pattern again. And so if he does this pattern for more than 10 minutes, then you have no reason to worry. The baby will definitely get adequate amount of milk. After a period of breastfeeding and the baby doesn't exhibit breastfeeding cues, then you do not have to worry. Cues are signs that indicate that the baby is hungry and needs to suckle. These cues are two. Number one, rooting. If you put your finger on the side of the cheek or the mouth, the baby normally turns to the direction of the finger, with thinking it is a breast and with an attempt to suckle. But after you have given the baby breast milk, or he has suckled, and it doesn't exhibit this kind of rooting, then you can be sure the baby is satisfied. Number two, babies normally suckle their fingers when they're hungry. And if it doesn't suckle the finger, especially after a meal of breast milk, then you have to be satisfied that the baby is not hungry. In the first day of life, the baby normally wets one diaper. In other words, it goes for short cold once, at least once. So in one day of life, the baby goes for a short cold or wets diaper once. Okay? In 2 to 3 days, the baby normally wets diaper at least 3 times. And so that is an indication that the baby has suckled adequately. By the 6th day, the baby wets the diaper at least 6 to 8 days. When that cycle occurs, then it's an indication that the baby is satisfied. Is the baby gaining weight? If the answer is yes, then you don't have to worry. It means the baby is suckling well. There is something I need to point out and discuss further. When the baby is born, it is weighed. That weight is called birth weight. In a period of 5 to 7 days, the baby normally loses its weight. And it takes about 2 weeks for the baby to gain and attain its birth weight. I want you to listen. Right when the baby is born, the weight is taken. That weight is called the birth weight. In a period of 1 to 5 days or even 7, it is normal for the baby to lose weight. And if the baby is suckling well, he will tend to gain weight steadily, and by 2 weeks, he could have gained his birth weight. Thereafter, the baby will weigh and gain weight subsequently. So those are the ways that you can be able to tell that the baby is suckling adequately. Thank you.